Very nice. Welcome to this live stream. So as it is, it feels like we figured out the way to have perfect audio. We have been just working on learning to perfectly balance the audio. Let's actually go and experiment. Well, let's see how we sound from the YouTube perspective. Ah, yes. So it appears we've perfected the audio as we have. We sort of slipped into stereo. So we have, our mic here, and then we have our mic that's connected to our preamp here. What is good? What is good, Kingston? So I'm just happy to establish this really good audio. It also allows us so we can really effectively use, vibrations. If we're doing sound journey elements, we can directly direct it into our microphones. Pretty cool. We'll see how this sounds, though, about watching the audio and visual after the stream. But yeah, leveling up our audio. Especially going to help as we were sort of figuring this out. Yeah, cheers, brother. Cheers, Kingston. But it's when we're going on doing these streams as we're roving, so we pop our camera on our guitar and we're just like roving through the forest or going through beaches or whatever, then the audio will finally be perfect. We'll have very high quality audio. So this is exciting stuff, I feel. It actually even makes, I'm not sure how this would really read through you guys, but a lot of how I record my music is I feed the sound through the sound hole of the guitar, because I use a preamp here, right? I have a preamp set up here. And as my audio is, fed through my lav mic, so it's all perfectly streamed through the phone here, you can basically hear exactly what the sound hole inside of my guitar hears. So whether I'm, say, playing guitar, or if I'm, as I was doing here, if I'm just streaming this through, I can kind of use basically the guitar sound hole as a mastered secondary mic. I can even do things like say, I don't know how that sounds, but basically I can use this as a microphone that has extra effects or reverb that the guitar naturally has. So it's all mastered. Everything instantly becomes mastered, and now it's fed through my lav mic. So this is, for me, I'm pretty excited. I just figured this out today, and was kind of experimenting with this yesterday, if you were on my stream the other day. Oh, I thank you, brother. Welcome, Sean. I thought you were already here and subscribed. Maybe there was another Sean, but thank you, dog. Thank you for joining this channel, brother. Anyways, enough about the audio. I've been kind of experimenting with kind of this way of composing music just today, basically, of how I'm hopping back and forth between G sharp, so the fourth capo, and then finding like a peak moment to kind of just I'm just hopping around from this into here. Oh, yeah, I gotta go from here. And then maybe just like exiting the capo. Yes, sick. Hope you guys are finding yourself creatively inspired in your lives right now. That is, you know, you're just like rocking whatever guitar dimensions or parallels that's been flowing through, you know, wherever you're at in your creative journey. I feel like it's really important to just kind of be expansive with it, you know, let yourself experiment, explore whatever parallels resonate with you. So yeah, I hope if you guys are guitarists and you find yourself in some sort of creative phase, maybe you're like creatively blocked and you're trying to cultivate some new domain of your creative expression, and hopefully that's flowing through for you. And you know, just let yourself really just be experimental. Wherever those experimental waters want to ravel, maybe it's putting down your guitar and doing literally nothing. Or maybe, I don't know, exploring some trippy jazz chords. Or no, who knows, maybe it's becoming a creator or fucking around with like recording your stuff and studio recording your, I don't know, your creations and trying to expand into becoming some sort of music YouTuber. I hope whatever creative dimension is coming through, that you are honoring it and letting yourself just be present with that. And also, if you have any questions relating to, I don't know, guitar, pinch harmonics, tapping, I'd be happy to answer any of those kind of questions. I basically, because, you know, I've been doing guitar YouTube for about 8 months now, and I basically just create sound journeys, like I do meditative sound journeys. That's also why I'm really stoked to get this audio setup figured out, to kind of just like master and refine my audio. Feels like a giant step forward, because I also been doing this thing where I'm just chilling in forests. If you've been on the stream, yesterday and the few days, I basically go in, rove in the forest, and I set up, my camera here. I'll probably do this at some point in the next like 5-10 minutes. But I like set up my camera POV style, and it just chills here. How do you live stream? Nice. How do I live stream, or how does one learn to live stream as a whole? But yeah, basically I'll do this POV camera, which is fun because it's very simple and dynamic. But with the new lav mic setup, I got my like lav mic here, lav mic plugged into my preamp. I can basically just like rove and do whatever I want as I just like walk through the world or go into the forest, and everything is like crisp audio. So I'm pretty hyped on that. But yeah, if anyone has any questions relating to music, feel free to ask. For now, we're just going to be kind of doing freeform streaming. But how do you live stream? Well, it's pretty simple, I guess. And the simplest answer, bruv, is like, if you have 50 subscribers on YouTube, then you have the free reign to live stream, basically. But I mean, how to like do live streams, like the greater context is like, if you want to be a YouTuber, because I'll be honest, like being a streamer, it's, I've only been doing streams for like 7 months now, in truth. That's actually how I've succeeded in YouTube, or how I've grown any sort of fan bases. I've just done like, I teach guitar and I do meditative journeys, but I mainly just live stream and I just like build a community. But the idea is, how to live stream on YouTube is you basically just have 50 subscribers. Like if you, however way you get there, you unlock 50 subscribers, and then you can start to officially live stream. But in all truth, in all honesty, you have to also kind of like you have to bridge the gap between when you start streaming on YouTube, you basically get 0 views. Like that's just how it starts. You're not going to get any views. Like you're going to get like no pushes from the algorithm. So you basically just have to be consistent. You just got to consistently have a vision of what your YouTube channel is, and then you can just, I don't know, just become a streamer. I'm from Indonesia. Song for me. We're not a cover artist here, yeah. I teach guitar and I perform music, yeah. Like I perform original and improv music. Gotcha. Well, I'd say the simplest way, yeah, if you haven't unlocked 50 subscribers, I think the most important thing is not if you want to become a live streamer, how you live stream. Because live streaming is honestly, it's a very intuitive thing that I think not everyone should necessarily just desire to just live stream for the sake of live streaming. You should have a vision. You should desire to do it because you want to grow a YouTube channel. It's like, you're like, you know what? I want to offer something unique to the YouTube community. And then live streaming happens to be a part. It's like a tool of how you achieve that. But in all honesty, yeah, the first step I would say is just have a vision with your YouTube channel. Like learn to be like, how can you actually create a concept or a dynamic with whatever your YouTube channel is? Like, do you, desire to create high quality content that has the ability to go, far in the YouTube sphere? Because being a live streamer itself is not the goal. Like that's not gonna translate, at least in YouTube land. It's like you gotta really have an intention and a vision. So before you even desire to be like, all right, I do want to do whatever live streaming, I personally never really desired to be a live streamer or even ever live stream. I only just basically decided, I was like, you know what, I'm a busker, I know how to perform music, and I was like, I have a vision to grow a YouTube channel. That's basically why I decided to become a live streamer. It wasn't because I was like, all right, I just want to do it for the sake of doing it. It's like I knew that I had a vision to basically become a full-time YouTuber, and live streaming was basically just a tool that I was like, all right, I get to like get live feedback, interact with my viewers, build a community. It was really just like that clear cut. It's not like I was simply doing it for the sake of doing it, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, once you get it, it's like, it is the most, like the one thing I could say about live streaming that is like a truly powerful positive is it puts the power in your hands. You yourself, your efforts will translate. Whoa, someone's car alarm is going off. That's crazy. But yeah, no, it's like basically if you're you know, just a tenacious dude. Like, you know how to apply yourself, you know how to show up and discipline yourself with a dynamic that, again, resonates with your YouTube sphere, you can successfully build a YouTube audience with live streaming. But yeah. Country Road, Take Me Home. No idea how to perform that, brother. No idea. Someone's, oh, it's a house alarm. That's weird as fuck, bro. Well, pay no attention to the house alarm. That's ominously gone off. We're just gonna just walk past that. Yeah, no, YouTube is a glitchy entity. I don't know, it could be anything, but I don't know, viewers will come and go. Like, even if YouTube just glitches out and drops all the signals, I'm sure it's like YouTube is, they're running on some sort of network, so it's all good. I know that the YouTube viewership, even, they come in waves, so you know, sometimes I get hit with massive waves via the algorithm. You know, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Oh, some motherfucker, he's speeding up the hill. Yeah, but no, long story short, without getting too deep into Kingston's question, in all honesty, I think you need to ask yourself, like, why, like, cultivate, like, in the simplest. Right, this is a really deep part of becoming a creator is, why do you desire to be a YouTuber or a creator or whatever, a streamer? What do you feel like you can bring? Like, what unique dimension can you bring? Even if it's just like, you know, do you want to be a vlogger? Do you want to like create a high quality content experience? And further, I'll be honest, this is probably the most important piece of it is, what do you feel your relationship is with, I'd say, your phone? That is social media. Like, do you have a healthy, integrated relationship? Can you say confidently, like, you know what, I do feel like I have a healthy grasp on my dopaminergic patterning relating to my phone? Like, this is a very important thing to understand, because if you don't, say you're just drowning in a sea of dysregulated conditioning, patterning, you know, say you're just like, you know, you're just a human being, you're just like all of us. We're all susceptible to the deep realms of programming, right? And then you decide, you know, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, I'm gonna be a streamer, and you're sitting here being present, engaging with your phone, doing the social media thing. It can really fuck you up. Like, in all honesty, is like, if you're a person that doesn't know how to regulate yourself and how to balance your relationship, yeah, I'm gonna make sure my microphone's all set, with your phone, it can be a very powerful negative. Like, let's be perfectly honest here. You know, for Kingston or for people that are desiring to go on that path, they're like, you know what, I wanna be a YouTuber or a creator or whatever. Great. You know, I think there's a lot of powerful positives. There's a lot of freedom. There's actually, it's a brilliant idea to desire to be an entrepreneur, to be a creator in 2026. Like, in all truth, you're onto something if you're like, you know what, I do desire to grow some sort of social media business. And even further, I think it's very commendable and intelligent. Like, yes, you do desire to create a more empowering, enriching relationship with your phone. Like, at the heart of it, that's what you desire to do, right? And that's part of what is present here, is you're trying to unpackage how you can maybe build a community, maybe build an income with this device in front of you, instead of it just being some sort of device that reinforces unconscious programming. But the real question you should ask yourself is, are you equipped or are you prepared to now go on this journey and readily know that even if you're, on this path, you're like, you're right, I'm going to, invest time and energy on your phone, on social media, and create content, be in front of a camera. Are you right now in your life prepared to create a harmonious and integrated relationship with this device? Now again, it's a double-edged sword, because on one part of it, you need to be perfectly aware that you're a human being. You're a human being, right? You're susceptible to the programming. Hell, you're probably already a product of this programming. Where if you look at it, for the better and the worse, all of us were being programmed, even manipulated by these devices in front of us, So on one hand, you need to be very conscious of what is the role that this device is playing in your life. Is it consuming you? Is it manipulating and programming you? And yes, being a creator, like, I want to be a social media creator, or you want to be a YouTuber or Instagram creator. Probably not the best idea of being an Instagram creator, because it's just not very fruitful. But if you want to do that, that is actually a direct way to penetrate the programming with intention. So again, there's two ways to look at it is, do you have a grip on your dopaminergic health? That is your brain health. Can you look confident, like, what, I train, maybe like do strength training, and you have a healthy outlet and avenue and relationship with your dopamine before you even engage as a creator. And then all that aside, like, what, maybe I do, maybe I don't a little bit, maybe it could be more fruitful. Now you have to ask yourself, what is your vision, brother? What is your vision? Do you have something that you're like, what, I think there's something that I have that is unique to me. Maybe it's your ability to talk about, I don't know, X, Y, Z, whatever. Do you have a vision of what you desire to bring to this community space that you feel this community would benefit from, YouTube as a whole? And you probably do. Most of us do. So food for thought. Anyways, how could many bots could rage bait to get a reaction? Is there bots? Is there rage baiting? I have no idea. I've been too busy being present here, trying to talk about, what I think is a very important dialogue or monologue. Is there bots? Let's see. Let's go backwards. I don't see bots. I kind of play guitar. Woo-woo, what's happening? I'm staying into the end. Nice. Feel free, brother. I'm not sure how long we'll be here for today, in truth. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm going to the forest. I'm really just playing around because now as you might hear, my audio has been perfected. I basically figured out how to use a lav mic using the perfect level of gain and the stereo mic setup. So I can confidently say that this audio is good. We got good audio. But yeah, dog, for Kingston. Yeah, you may not be a good guitarist. That's cool, brother. You don't need to do the guitar YouTube stuff. Like, you don't necessarily, you can do, whatever you feel like, what is your strength? Like, what is something that you uniquely are on the path to discovering? Like, what do you really know? And again, that is probably, before you even become a creator, like, I've been studying YouTube probably about 3-4 years now. Before I actually decided, I was like, all right, I'm making this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel has been live for about just over 9 months, right? And I've been streaming for about just over 7 months. But the reality is I've been studying YouTube, for years, cultivating my vision, cultivating my ability to communicate and articulate. And way before you're like, all right, I'm creating a YouTube channel and I want to be a YouTuber or whatever you want to do, you should probably take a moment to take a step back and be like, all right, how can I cultivate your vision, the skills that may translate into being a successful YouTuber? Because I'll be perfectly honest here, there's nothing more daunting and probably more disheartening than simply just being like, all right, I want to be a YouTuber. You dive in, you create a channel, and then you fail. Like, you fail in every given metric and every given modality, which is okay. But for like years, like, you start and then you realize, wait, why am I not making success? Why am I not making notable strides? Why, is my niche not crystallized? And then you maybe get disheartened, which is also a part of the journey. But in all truth, before you even execute, oh, whoa, this bird. So part of what we're doing here, wow, I'm actually here to basically capture sounds of the forest. So how we're gonna do this is, because we have our lav mic set up, like we were trying to do this yesterday, I can disconnect my lav mic here, right? I have my lav mic, I can disconnect it, and it's gonna be pretty loud here. But now we're gonna use this secondary mic to capture forest sounds. So when we're playing guitar, this is gonna be like full immersive. Yeah, you can hear. There's birds around here somewhere, so I'm gonna try to find the birds, maybe find like a riverbed, and create a meditative experience. Yeah, they're over here. I can see this one bird. He's just like really, wow. Let me know how this audio experience. I know like when I have the mic off like this, because I don't have like the little, little hat thing for the mic, it kind of is a very uncalibrated audio, but wow. Maybe if we just direct the mic, we'll try doing this where we'll leave our microphone maybe over here. Just kind of direct it. So we'll have our mic just kind of chilling there. That's our mic. And we'll just play guitar and see if it picks up. Sing, sing, sing. Nah. Oh yeah. Awesome. You can probably sort of hear this. The bird is, wow. I'm gonna just collaborate with this bird now. I'm gonna take some time. You can probably sort of hear me because the mic's shown here. I'm gonna do some collaborate. I'm just gonna listen to the bird. Pretty chill. That's so awesome. Testing, testing. Wow, so much awesome bird stuff happening. There's just tons. Just roaming around these forests here. So we'll hook up our microphone once again. So cool. Yeah, but nah, here we are back with our microphone. Honestly, I mean, if your homie says he's 12, honestly, yeah, that means probably a lot of what I said probably didn't really make a whole lot of sense. That is relating to like brain health, phone relations. Yeah, I don't know. Can't hear guitar. Can't hear guitar. The guitar does work. Guitar work now. I think when I unplugged my other mic, it was probably connected. Yeah. I have a feeling it connected, so I don't know if I can disconnect the mic like that without losing the guitar. Let me know, is the guitar sound, this guitar sound still good? Guitar's active, sweet, thank you. Yeah, I think it was just because of, testing. I think it's just because I was using the mic and trying to plug it in there. Good to know. I don't think I can disconnect them separately, but yeah, let's continue on our way. Yeah, but long story short, I'm not sure if a 12-year-old has the ability to be a content creator at this time, truthfully. But, you know, you can do anything in this world. If you want to be a content creator, focus on honoring your body and just be the type of person. Because this is the thing, you know, this is kind of, again, a little bit of a larger kind of conceptualization, but I really feel that this world doesn't need influencers or content creators. Like, it doesn't need more influencers or content creators. It just needs people that are integrated and authentic with themselves. So if you're an authentic person, you're integrated and authentic, you have a message, a vision that you desire to share with the world does need influencers or creators that are in that realm. That's what they need. So it's not about if you want to be a creator or not or whatever. Yeah, everybody wants to have a job that is free form, that you have freedom, that you can utilize at your fingertips, like being a YouTuber or a live streamer or whatever. But the real question is, are you actually equipped as a human being? Like, have you gone through the process of actually being a human being that actually should be influencing and helping people? Are you in that phase? And if you're not, let's be real here, it doesn't even matter. Because it's gonna just destroy you. Like, in all truth, it's like if you're not a person that necessarily understands how to have a conscious relationship with your dopamine, with your brain health, even if you do want to be a creator and you just don't have an authentic relationship with yourself and your phone and your brain, being a content creator is going to fuck you up. Like, without a shadow of doubt, it's going to overemphasize the ego. It's going to mess up your dopamine. It's not something you should desire to do unless you are ready to actually offer and be of service, like a higher vision that you desire to bring to the content sphere. Because if you're not, it's going to really fuck up your brain, in all truth. How was my spa? It was great. Yeah, I basically spent 3 hours meditating, doing steam room, sauna, cold plunges, did like 5 cold plunges. Like, I did like a few like 3-minute cold plunges and then a few like 1-minute plunges. And wow, those were actually like somatically incredible, I must say. You know, I think I was right on the money to desire to do that, where going into, yeah, let's set this up so this is here. I think what I need to do is I need to place this underneath this. Yeah. So go here, and this will go here. But yeah, no, it was surprising how that's a realization I had while I was meditating in the sauna. I was like, you know what? I think I need to. Doesn't matter like how or when, or the sacrifice, if there is one. I need to start going into the sauna regularly. Basically, I need to start like cleansing and purging toxins from my body regularly. Like, it kind of hit me, because even, I think I've talked about this once or twice. You know, Brian Johnson, he's like a billionaire that is obsessed with looking young and stuff. Cool guy. He's done a lot of like psychedelics recently and been innovating some very interesting health-related sciences. But basically, he released a study that said that doing a hot sauna regularly, apparently the research says that it removes up to 80% of microplastics from your sperm and your blood. So doing a hot sauna removes up to 80%, I think it was actually 80% they just said was the figure that they've extracted, 80% of microplastics from your sperm and your blood from just doing hot sauna or dry sauna. insane. Like that's incredible. Just that alone. And there's obviously so many different benefits of hot sauna or dry sauna exposure relating to boosting human growth hormone. That was something Andrew Huberman was doing many studies about. It's like, and it's in extremes. Like you gotta like literally expose yourself to like 40-minute sessions and push yourself really deeply to rapidly boost like something like 300% human growth hormone boosting. Like that was part of what they were researching. Is like, it's something like, yeah, if you do regular, I think it was either 30 minutes or 40-minute sauna sessions, that they were reporting that people were getting 300% boosts in human growth hormone, which is insane. And if you know anything about human growth hormone, it's extremely important for pretty much all the hormone systems, naturally for testosterone, for dopamine, for all these things. It's really cool stuff. Long story short, saunas rock. If you can regularly integrate saunas, it can be really life-changing. And it kind of was just an immediate reminder. I was like, man, it's been a while since I've regularly sat in a sauna practice. Birds, no background noises here. Yeah, I think what I need to do is I need to somehow figure out how to maybe get a shotgun mic. And instead of having this microphone here, I can hook it up to a shotgun mic, have like an external mic that I direct outwards. I don't know, still we gotta do more sound experimenting. We don't need education, we don't need no AI faction. Nice. I get you, I see what you did there, I see what you did there. Yeah, crazy. I remember spa days. Yeah, they're amazing. Am I going again? I don't think so. Well, in truth, that's the one thing, is they cost a lot of money. This was like $50 for like, 3-hour sessions. So I'm not just gonna drop $50 at random just to sit and meditate and do a spa if I don't need to. Just not on the top priority of my priority list. But in truth though, there's many gyms, there's community center gyms that you can train at where you can get a free spa membership, or a sauna that is like hot and wet sauna. So I'll probably look into that. Yeah. It's interesting though, this is a random tangent that's been flowing through my mind, but I was on Reddit the other day, because I've been kind of commenting on random Reddit subreddits about YouTube, about people growing YouTubes, and one guy was talking about how basically he gave one of the most interesting breakdowns of why AI content creators are going to fail unanimously. He was basically underlining the strategy that a lot of YouTube, the corporation is employing, that will not only discourage, but actually make AI creators disappear indefinitely. And I found it very interesting. Basically the basis of it, I remember I left a very detailed comment where I was like, you know what? I love this comment, I love where this person's mind's at, and I agree, and I just started riffing about things that also underlined how, if we just look at it as simple as this, right? YouTube has been around for a long time, right? YouTube has really mastered, to some degree, the ability to discern low quality content and, effectively equip their algorithms, deploying billions of dollars of their resources, hiring staff, people, to effectively realize what is low quality content. Basically, YouTube already recognizes what it looks like to grow large brands on YouTube, right? And AI, like if a person's like, oh yeah, but I'm an AI creator, I create a channel, I create this, that, to do this, that, the other thing. Most AI channels do not even begin to actually fit in, well, not only YouTube's regulations and guidelines, but they're basically, it all sits under the same bracket of very low effort content. Like it's not even about like, even if they succeed or they create some sort of comprehensive idea, if they're creating the content they're creating that is genuinely low effort and it's against YouTube's guidelines, it's unequivocally going to be removed. It's going to be banned. It's going to get demonetized like that. Like YouTube basically is very, very stringy, or they're very, what's the word? Yeah, they're very particular about what they choose to monetize, because they're trying to basically promote people that grow brands, because YouTube obviously makes money off of brand deals. They want companies to come to them and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna sponsor this company and grow brands. Like that's what YouTube is trying to do on a larger scale. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation that honestly doesn't give a flying fuck about a lot of these like low effort, AI things that are supposedly trying to like almost sneak in under the regulations. And long story short, basically what a lot of this whole Reddit forum was underlining is YouTube can and will, like again, they're a massive corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation. They're gonna equip their resources to not only make it near impossible, but make it so challenging and not worth the efforts to any of these AI creators. Like it's already like, it's very obvious that it's already difficult to succeed in YouTube as a whole. Like if you're a creator, you gotta really jump through some hoops. You gotta be doing something significant. But it's interesting how I think what this one, Redditor underlined is that YouTube can and will make it not only so difficult and challenging, like they can do this where they'll make it extremely challenging and not worth the time, energy, and money. Like they'll basically, they could string along AI creators and be like, oh yeah, you can spend 6 months, spend 8 months of your time, invest your money, create all this AI content, and then demonetize them right before they actually start to make money. Like basically, YouTube can employ intelligent business strategies to basically completely disincentivize these AI creators that are trying to fly under the radar. They have this ability. So I found it really interesting where it's like, that's what a lot of what this Reddit was about. It was like, it's not about YouTube gonna just be like, oh yes, let's use all our different resources or our different platform algorithms to weed out all the AI creators. No, they're actually going from like a foundational level. They're gonna break their will. Like they're not only just gonna be like, oh, this is not allowed, and then people go against the regulations and gonna get banned permanently. They'll do that, but they're actually going to like use intelligent strategies to completely de-incentivize their entire business plan. Like people that are like, oh, so I invested in like several months of my time and they spent all this money on AI programs and built a channel, and they're gonna basically pull the rug beneath a lot of these people. Like you could be like, oh, I spent a year of my time building an AI channel and it was high quality, I got all the viewers and support, and then right when you're about to actually make real money, they'll completely destroy your channel, and then all your efforts are gone forever. And that's what's happening over and over and over again, is they're not only trying to make people realize that yes, AI is never going to be welcome. It's never going to be a welcome enabled part of the YouTube sphere for good reason, but they're actually employing strategies that not only make it like extremely difficult, if not impossible, but they basically de-incentivize it, where it's like, you know what, even if you're gonna try to do it, we're gonna waste your time, efforts, and resources over and over and over again, where then you're gonna get so discouraged, like why even try? Like really, why would you even try to go against YouTube's regulations for a very low effort payout to instantly just get your time and efforts completely destroyed? Because obviously you deserve it if you're trying to do that. But it's interesting. It's basically they're using intelligent business tactics and psychological tactics to just destroy AI people, creators, their will from the bottom up. I don't know, that was what this Redditor was underlining. I agreed. I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool take. I was like, that makes sense. And I kind of again underlined the fact that not only will YouTube do that, they have the resources. Like if people think that AI creators are like these sneaky geniuses who are using their, their little prompts, and they can get away with whatever. They don't even know how much resources YouTube has to employ. Like, they have an insane, it's a massive corporation. But even further, the funny thing is, which I think is bizarre, is AI it's a sophisticated technology, but it's the very technology that deciphers and identifies AI is the exact same technology. So it's basically like, if people think that AI is going to get so sophisticated and advanced that no one will be able to detect it and notice the difference, well, guess what? The technology that was used to create AI and is making the AI is also going to be used to identify and discern what is AI. So basically, there's never going to hit this kind of window where it's like, oh, now you have, this technology that's, impossible to differentiate. If it's like, if you want to create AI to just, have some laughs and have fun with it, great. But there is a 0% chance you're going to succeed as like a YouTube creator business. If YouTube, has regulations like, nope, this is not going to exist, is they're literally just going to employ the very same technology that's just as sophisticated as what the AI is becoming. That's going to detect the AI and basically be like, okay, well, this is AI, clearly, and then it just goes out the window. It's early cream of the crop, not AI slop. Nice. Kind of small-minded, guys, and remember, this is a global wave of looking at it. Yeah. Who should watch that mass AI shift? Interesting. I'm trying to, let me just see what's the world of thought here. So AI content is so meaningless. Yeah, it's the same shit. Like, yeah, it's like, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm a guitar YouTuber, very anti-AI. Like, that's, I don't know, it's not even about me throwing salt at AI. I'm very painfully aware that our world is literally going to rapidly change in about the next 4 or 5 years. I don't know if you guys have been watching some of the tech giants actually comment on what's going on in this world relating to the whole weird AI thing. I try not to think about it a whole lot, but basically I've went down those rabbit holes, and apparently it's very evident the next 4 or 5 years, most jobs, it's predicated 99% of our jobs are not going to exist anymore if we are going the same direction that we're going. Like, if we don't basically take radical action, we're going to be living in a very different society in about 4 to 5 years, not even very long, 4 to 5 years. Like, if AI goes the direction it's going to go, like, we're looking at a whole society collapsing. Like, that's basically, it's societal collapse. That's what a lot of these AI tech giants who are literally helping build or trying to create safeguards for this technology, they're predicating that. So yeah, obviously AI is going to change the very nature of the world. It sucks. As a dude that's not for it, doesn't use AI at all, it's pretty bizarre stuff. Personally, I've always seen it as, you know what? How can we as human beings now be more present than ever? How can we live our lives and realize how important it is now more than ever to be human, to be authentic humans, to root ourselves in what it means to be human? But yeah, anyways, I just found it very fascinating that, on the farce of YouTube and how they're dealing with AI creators, which is a huge problem right now, apparently. I don't know, I have no perspective. I've never even dabbled or touched in AI technology, and, I'm the very antithesis of AI, but it's like, I find it fascinating. These are interesting philosophical, critical thinking debates of being like, some people argue for and be like, no, but it's the future. We'll get around this. We'll create this. But what I found very fascinating is, like, the fact that YouTube, apparently from, again, what this comment was saying on this Reddit forum, is like, YouTube is employing a level of not only like business strategy, but psychological strategy, where they're like, oh yeah, we'll let you grow your channel for 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Employ all your time and effort, invest money and time and effort. Because that's the thing, is it costs money to actually use a lot of these software programs people use to make their content, that's AI content. And they'll basically make it so they're gonna just break their will again. They'll just be like, oh yeah, like I just invested 9 months of my time, and then your channel just got deleted and demonetized, or demonetized into just a pointless thing. And I think that's very interesting. I think that's the right approach. Big W for YouTube is they seem to be really on top of on how to deal with that kind of thing. So I applaud YouTube, and good job. It doesn't surprise me, because obviously they're like, again, multi-billion-dollar corporation. They've been around for a long time, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's like, I think it's pretty interesting. Anyways, we'll return to the regular programming. What are the woods whispering? That's a beautiful question. That's a beautiful question. Let's ask. Welcome to this live stream here. I feel like I gotta find a good spot where this maybe just doesn't phase out at all, depending on how I'm sort of positioning this. Maybe up here. Yeah. Finding out the right answers is about finding the important, right, and good question. The answer is almost on its way if you have the question. Very true, Enchanted. Yes, very true. You know, even throughout the entirety of what I was kind of underlining, you know, even if we are talking about debating this and that, the outs of where YouTube or how YouTube is dealing with, people going against the regulations and creating AI content, the real thing that I was just trying to introduce awareness to is, and I said this in the comments, you know, in my Reddit comment, is people, for some reason, have seemed to have lost the ability to employ basic critical thinking. Like truly, if you're just like, it's almost like if you really try to think deeply into things, like you're just like, again, you're like, you know what? How is this gonna unravel in the long term? How is this going to play out based on where we're at in society and this and that and the other? It's like, it's not about them asking, you know, the right or wrong questions or going on this like philosophical argument. You could do that. But it's almost like these people, I think, in a fundamental level, not everyone, of course, but it seems like a lot of these creators, they've really lost touch with one, maybe their integrity, probably their integrity, but they've lost like a fundamental ability to discern and see with clarity. Like that's really it, is like, you know, because if they did, in fact, have like integrity, clarity, awareness, they would come to a few conclusions about, you know, oh, why am I gonna create this channel that, you know, has a slim percentage of this or that, or, you know, it's like they're almost fundamentally operating from such an incongruent place about why they're doing what they do. It's almost like their why is lost. Like if, without getting too specific, it's like if you get very broad and poetic about it, I can say confidently that when people are trying to, you know, go down that path of like some sort of disintegral path where they're, you know, they've lost their why. They don't know why they're a creator. Why are they doing what they're doing? Like they're just operating out of a place that is such a, I'd say, minute awareness of what is their why. You know, why are they even desiring to become a creator? Why are they trying to even build something on YouTube? Why are they trying to utilize this programming that's very disintegral and fundamentally ethically flawed and probably is not going to be fruitful, when you could invest your time and energy in something that is nothing, I'd say, of the sort? You know, you can use your same time and energy and efforts to feed and nourish something different. It's just basically what I'm saying is, there's a fundamental malalignment with one's values, I feel, when they're trying to, you know, make decisions related to like, oh, let's try to build this kind of AI business and blah. And that's just an example. Again, this isn't like strictly about that, but I think a lot of people, basically what I'm saying is they've lost the ability to think and discern effectively, to think critically. And that sucks. Like that's, it seems to be a rampart part of how a lot of, you know, dysfunction arises, how a lot of people, you see a lot of these like weird dysfunctional patterns arise in society. It all comes down to the same thing. Like where and how or why have people lost the ability to just think successfully, to discern, to think critically, to openly really just put some thought and analyze what is in front of them. I mean, it is what it is, but it's, when we're talking about people trying to run businesses and succeed and this and that and operate out of integrity and et cetera, it's an interesting phenomenon. I'm just looking at it like, wow, like you could talk all day long about AI versus not, or, you know, YouTube versus this, or creator this and that, but it's like, are you in integrity? Like, do you even understand what your values are? Do you even understand your vision, your why? Like, do you even have a foundational awareness of who the fuck you even are? Like, if those things, you can't answer those with absolute certainty, you got greater problems to probably focus on than how do I grow this, or what's the answer to this, or how do I do this and that. It's like, no, you gotta look at the core fundamental things, the foundational aspects of who you are and what is in front of you, or else everything will just operate from a lens of distortion. You know, you will look left, right, and center, and all you'll see is problems that are insolvable. You'll look around and you'll just see the distortion and the darkness of the world, and you'll never be able to actually lift that veil. Oh. Trees are the still brothers whispering. It's like man finding man. Very nice. Positive finds positive. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I talk about, and this isn't random actually, it's not a coincidence. A lot of what I've underlined now, but also beyond how I often unpackage things, just because the way that my own perspective has organically unraveled in such a way is, I am a firm believer that yes, everything is, well, infinite. It's an infinite reflection of what we believe, of what we think, of what we are, no matter what. It's just laws of the universe. It's metaphysical, you know, philosophy, or metaphysics 101. It's like, if you even understand the greater construct of how powerfully you can influence the world around you, you know, with your decisions, with your thoughts, with your choices, you know, how powerfully you, in fact, are creating your reality, like to every given core of your being. It's like, if you hear those words and you think that, yeah, that makes sense, but X, Y, Z, this, and you think you're still not living in alignment. You're still not seeing things with clarity. Like, if you don't really understand that every thought you think, every conception of who you think you are and what you think is just a reflection. It has nothing to do with the actual depths of what actually is. Because at the heart of it, everything is infinite. You know, if you're looking at the quantum theory and quantum particles, everything exists in the larger construct outside of the material world. It's all, you know, forming and materializing in front of you. Your thoughts, your reality. And it's like, you know, I like to return to that a lot. It's like, we can think of this in a very esoteric and poetic way, but it's in the simplest right. You know, the version of you exists in every given parallel, every given dimension that you could ever imagine. Like, it just is. That's how it always is. You know, the version of you exists in infinite possibilities. And if you acknowledge that, you're like, okay, so, you know, I'm living in right now the mirror of all these different conscious and unconscious choices of who I've decided to become. Well, the beauty is the second that you believe that, you know what, maybe there's a remote possibility that I can be, you know, aligned with this version of me that sees through all the distortions and the illusions of this world, the illusions that define you as this versus that. You know, if you're like, you know, I want to live the most abundant reality, that is a person that is, you know, identifying, for lack of a better word, or is unpackaging the model of who you can become. Once you recognize that you have the ability to become this person, you know, your highest expression of self that sees through all the distortions of this world, you're moving closer towards that. Now, obviously, there's many different parallels of how we can't just make thought streams and be like, okay, well, I want to be a billionaire and live on this place or do that. It's like, you have to be rooted within your ability to act and feel into your actions. It's almost like, this is like Joe Dispenza-esque 101, is like, your nervous system, you know, your body, your somatic body is programming your reality. Basically, your emotions in relation to the thoughts you think, those are why you are identifying how you are. Like, you know, the trauma, the patterns that is in your somatic body is like, you basically, you can never live beyond the reality that you feel inside of your body. You know, it's like if you, on an emotional level, you don't feel abundant, you don't feel like you are worthy of becoming your highest expression of self, it doesn't matter if, even if you're like, you know what, but I think I should be here, I deserve that, this, that, the other. You need to let your whole being reprogram this. Like, you have to not only believe that, I can create, you know, anything, and anything I envision can become my reality, but you also have to step outside of the programming that is holding you back from actually acting on your higher reality you desire to become. I don't know, a lot of, again, very poetic, esoteric type things, but to appreciate the noise, you need to appreciate the silence. Ah, yes, the silence. Yeah. You know, it's a bizarre thing. Like, even being a creator, a content creator, a YouTuber, very bizarre experience. Like, you know, to be one that's like, you know what, I'm choosing to be present with this entity, this reality that is my phone, you know, to choose to invest time to create a business or create a livelihood that is participating within a patterning that removes you from presence just by programming or just by default. It's almost like a very powerful paradox. You're so right, Joe Dispenza is the kind of man of wisdom. Was a kind of man of wisdom, yeah. Yeah, it's funny because, again, you know, without repeating myself, well, which I often love to just kind of return to core things, is a lot of what I say, I don't say these things because I read them in a book, because I'm like, yeah, Joe Dispenza, I read it once and was just like, oh yeah, Joe knows what's up. Or like, you know, read The Law of One or some sort of like, you know, metaphysical book and was just like, okay, so I'm now just going to repeat that over. No, it's like, these are things that I've known for years, I've read about for years, that is. But it's only until I actually saw these things with my own eyes. Like, I looked at my own reality and saw how these things actually operate in real time in my life, where I started to be like, you know what? Not only is this very clear to me based on how my reality has shifted and how my life has unraveled in the last like 9-10 years, but yeah, it's like, these are things that I can tell you about these things. I can be like, yeah, metaphysical anomalies, this, that, esoteric, this, but you cannot intellectualize these things. Like, it's like if you were to talk about, you know, Taoism, and you talk about the Tao, a lot of, you know, the Tao operates in paradoxes. Like Eastern philosophy, when you just address it, like if we're not even getting into the deeper dimensions of it, is like a lot of Eastern philosophy addresses this same thing. Is a lot of these exquisite things, they do operate in paradoxes, and it's not because they're paradoxes that are fully beyond our comprehension, but because you need to feel these things. These aren't things you can conceptualize and intellectualize and be like, so I can tell you that, hey, you know, there is something beyond the material world and blah, 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 and like suddenly it'll make sense to you and your life has changed. You have to see and feel these things. Like, these are not things you can intellectualize. These aren't things you can just be like, okay, I've read it from Joe Dispenza's book and now suddenly I understand it and I've applied it and my life has changed. You can take these as points of reference. It's like, I can tell you a word or a thought and you can agree with it, but unless you've seen it with your own very eyes and applied it to your life, it won't truly make sense. And that's the point. Like, that's what's so pivotal, is like, even looking at my own life several years ago, before I even ever really experienced some of these larger shifts in my life, you know, I believed in these things. I was like, wow, these are really beautiful. I would romanticize the idea of like metaphysical shifts and metaphysical anomalies, but it didn't actually make sense. I didn't actually experience these things. I didn't actually understand on a deeper level. And I still, to many degrees, don't understand. But I think if there's anything I can advocate is take everything I'm saying at any rate on this channel with a grain of salt, but realize a lot of these things are not meant to be intellectualized. They're not meant to be heard as words as they are. They're meant to be felt. They're meant to be experienced. And I cannot experience these things for you. I can only, you know, lead you to the door or plant a seed. But you are the one that has to see it for yourself. You know, you're the one that has to align yourself with the metaphysical anomalies and see through the programming yourself. And once you do, it's a felt experience. It's not a word. It's not a narrative. You know, the narratives can be helpful to unravel these threads, but it's a felt experience. And the felt experience goes way deeper than your narrative. Food for thought. You can see more stars. Very nice. Can't fill a cup which is already full. Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I mean, I know Moon, she's expressed that, you know, she lives in a place where there's certain beliefs that she really feels she identifies with. Like, which is, you know, it's okay, you're human. I mean, like, let's be real here. There's no greater distortion that a lot of humans really hold on to. Like, taking Moon or Enchanted's perspective completely out of the equation, you realize that a lot of us do live in the delusion that the 3D is something we need to separate ourselves from. You know, that is your darkness, your shadow self. Like, this is probably the greatest delusion a lot of people, I realize, live in, is you think that becoming spiritual or becoming integrated spiritual, you think in your head, like, you're like, but I see other people that maybe go through some sort of shift. Maybe these people even themselves haven't actually seen an integrated perspective or actually broken through to the deeper depths. But you do realize that to become spiritually enlightened, so to speak, not saying I even am in the fullest regard, but you need to embrace the 3D human experience, all of it. All the darkness, all the emotions, all the imperfections. You have to embrace it and be like, but this is beautiful. This is so extraordinary and exquisite and, you know, spiritual in the sense of it. Like, you can't basically be dejecting and be like, but my shadow self or the dark, complex traumas of the world. You can't act like you need to transcend that and never think about that and never even acknowledge that it exists. That's a delusion. It's a delusion. And many people, I feel like I've seen this before in, you know, the small bursts of things. It's like people, they act like it's some sort of compromise to enter a higher path, like to be their highest expression of self, because they think they're going to sacrifice or compromise the parts of themselves. You know, they act like, but if I become spiritually integrated, suddenly all these, you know, maybe things that you've bonded through trauma, maybe it's like being very openly erotic and sensual, or maybe it's, I don't know, seeing through a lens that honors the darkness. They think it's some sort of compromise. But guess what? That is itself a lie. That's a delusion. You can be someone that honors both realms. Like, that's the core truth I really want to acknowledge here is I've seen this. I've acknowledged it. I've seen other people who are strongly against this belief where they have this delusion in their mind. We're like, no, but if I were to heal, become spiritual, or, you know, or even they think that other people, they look in their life like, but that person, they look like they're more, you know, happy, spiritually integrated. And then they think in their mind that if I were to heal and become spiritually integrated, that I would lose, I'd have to compromise or sacrifice fundamental parts of the human experience. It doesn't operate that way. I'll be perfectly honest. You do not need to sacrifice or compromise anything as you enter the realm of being more conscious or integrated. That is a delusion to believe that, but I'm going to lose something, I don't want to sacrifice or compromise, you know, this part of the human experience. It's almost like, you know, you think to yourself, like, it's almost like if in the same argument, right? Like if someone were to tell you, I don't want to quit, you know, abusing substances because being sober seems boring, right? It's like almost an equivocal argument. You know, I've been sober for a long time and I party all the time. I dance, I meet beautiful souls, and what I'm saying is integrating and healing is not a compromise. I just want to make this clear. And this, I know this, you can have any beliefs about this, is not personal or directed to anyone. Here, you can believe what you desire. We all have our unique karmas. We're all figuring out our own time. But I'm telling you, I've seen this over and over and over again. And if we're using the parallel of like, people that think, oh, but I want to keep abusing substances because it's more fun. Because, life is short. I want to have fun. You can actually do the same thing and have just as much fun without these intoxicants. Just like you can still live an enriching, balanced, harmonious 3D human experience while being spiritually integrated. The illusion that you have in your head, they're like, oh, but a spiritual person is holier than thou, and they never have fun, they never have, enlivening, healthy sex and XYZ or whatever you're trying to tell yourself, that's a delusion. That has nothing to do with the actual spiritually healed context. The real spiritually integrated experience is not compromising a single thing. You're still human, you still get to be imperfect, you still get to honor your imperfection of who you are, you're honoring your shadow self, but you get to see through a lens of clarity, through one that is honoring the dark and the light fully. So, I don't know, that was just me going off on a tangent. And again, the simplest right I'm just trying to really summarize is the actual authentic spiritual path, you do not compromise. You're not compromising the things that you think you've built out of a trauma bond, or like, but the shadow self that I've suppressed, but I'm gonna have to now let go of those things when you spiritually. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You can still be a human being that sees through a spiritual lens, that is happy, that's ecstatic, that's abundant, sees with clarity, but still honors the shadow self. That's actually the whole point. Paradoxically, when you're not actually truly authentically honoring the shadow self, you're actually dishonoring it. You're not seeing through a lens of clarity. You're not actually receiving the gifts that these shadow self elements of yourself are. You're suppressing it. You're demonizing it. You're splitting yourself off from it. Anyways, I don't know. Food for thought. Again, these are a lot of I know these are sort of intense subjects, but in my mind, these are important things to think about. Like, these aren't, we all are going to figure out where we need to figure out at any given point. But again, I've seen this over and over and over again in my own life. And you will, trust me, like, you don't need to take this all with a grain of salt. You don't have to take this as truth even. But all I'm trying to simply say is the actual spiritual path, not the one that you've painted as a delusion in your head. You see a hippie, in some sort of like sugar-coated, rose-tinted glasses life who's trying to pretend, spiritual ego. That's not spirituality. No, it's about embracing the entirety of your human experience, the dark and the light. It's only just seeing through a lens of clarity. You still get to honor your darkness, and even more so because you're not suppressing it and demonizing it. And I just want to make that so abundantly clear, because there's a lot of people, maybe not people on this stream, maybe not people that even know, that for whatever reason can't let go of that and be like, oh no, but I don't want to sacrifice whatever it is I've built in this human realm, or I don't want to compromise because I want to do drugs and live out destructive patterns because they think that means honoring the shadow self. That's actually dishonoring the shadow self. That is you demonizing, suppressing the actual full expression of what these things are. And it's, again, it's a complex thing to think about. I've been sober for 11 years. I've been on this path for, quite some time now. So for me, I see these things with a little bit of clarity. I can say that, take these words with a grain of salt. I'm not here to be like, oh damn, this is the truth. Figure these things out as you desire. But I just think it's important to think about is like, a lot of people have the wrong idea in their head of what it looks like to be spiritual. And that's the thing I talk about many times on this channel, but I think it's important to just realize that simple statement is the spiritual path, you're not compromising. We don't have to all be monastic, be monks living on mountains, living an abstinent life, meditating for 5 hours a day. Hey, if that's what you want, that's what you need, magic. But the reality is the spiritual path is something that is rooted in the human experience. You can still love the human experience. You can still love all these beautiful, rich, multidimensional elements of the human experience. That is also the spiritual path. That is even deeper, I would say. You're embracing the very human essence of who you are. But again, you're just choosing to see it with clarity. You're choosing to see it with a lens that is honoring it. The moving past is the hard part. Yeah. Well, honestly, Moon, it's, again, take everything I said with a grain of salt. I'm not here to be like, you know, shaming or blaming or judging, be like, but you gotta be more spiritual than the other, or like, it sucks that you're, you know, not more this or that. No, it's like exactly as you are. A huge part of the healing journey is literally being at peace with exactly where you are. Literally knowing that you can be flawed, you can be imperfect, you can be exactly where you are in your spiritual journey. Like, you know, you could be like, wow, I've just figured out spirituality, or, you know, whatever it is that gives you happiness and healing. You could have just figured this out like right now this year, and that's beautiful. Like, because a huge part of the spiritual journey is literally just seeing the world around you and yourself with clarity. So I'd say exactly where you're at, you know, you unpackaging your dimension with feeling happy, or, you know, whatever is going on in your life, it's okay to be exactly where you are in this journey. You know, it's vital. Like, you know, even if we're all humans, we're all flawed, we're gonna fall from grace, we're gonna jump back on it. And it's like, I think it's important to realize that, yeah, before you actually attain like greater shifts and evolutions as a person, you gotta just accept yourself. You gotta just accept yourself exactly where you're at. You're like, you know what? I'm struggling, I'm suffering with this, and be like, but that's okay. Like, you're allowed to be where you're at. Like, you're allowed to be dysregulated. You're allowed to feel unhappy if you feel unhappy, or allowed to feel angry if you feel angry. Like, that's beautiful. You're a human being. You should feel that way, you know, sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of perspective there. But to summarize all this, like, again, I said at the start of this, like, 10, 20 minutes ago, the huge part of this is you cannot feel happy, right? Because happiness, this is a very elusive thing. Like, let's be real here. We can all think about and talk about happiness all day long, and, you know, maybe you'll get little waves of what you think is happiness, but in the truth, you have to build a reality that lets you see happiness for what it is, right? And part of that is feeling it in your body. Because if your mind is like feeling, you know, like, wow, I have so many things to feel happy for, and, you know, maybe you're seeing with clarity, you have a lot of things to feel grateful for. But if your nervous system and your whole reality has been programmed to see something that is not happiness, or all you focus on is the things that are, you know, maybe perceived as unhappiness, then it doesn't matter how the reality you're actually living in, your mind and your body and your whole energetic body, it's just not gonna see things for what they are. And anyways, I'm talking different parallels. Man, it feels so weird. It feels so weird not to be able to hear, because you guys can probably hear, because I'm mic'd up. You can hear the fullness of the mastered audio. I can't hear it. All I can hear is like zero audio, unplugged audio. So it's like, I think for me, it's a little bit of a weird mental switch where I can't hear how the guitar sounds with all the beautiful preamp and all the sounds to it. Because it's weird, because I almost like that sound of hearing the audio in its fullness really inspires me often. Like, I hear it and I'm like, that's magic. And then I hear more compositions in my head. Excuse me. Feel the fear. Natural fear is a push, not a stop. Yeah. Wow, I'm just like dying here. I think I've had some weird sort of allergies. That's kind of just definitely something. I get what you're saying. Find peace in everything that happened. Yeah. again, I've sort of unpackaged a lot of different concepts there, but I think in the simplest right, your body needs to feel something that aligns with what you think and understand. Like, it's like, you know, and your mind and your spiritual experience, like, it will go on journeys. You gotta come to some deep truths if you desire to. But at the end of the day too, we are human beings. We have a body, we have a vessel. And often, this is like very Joe Dispenza-esque, which full circle circulates around a lot of what I said. Your body is an exquisite vessel. And even further, your body holds so much. Like, this is a thing that I think is a sort of epicenter of a lot of what I'm saying is, yeah, Mike is good there, is the body absorbs so much. You know, we give a lot of emphasis to the brain, the mind, you know, which is beautiful. The mind is a powerful portal. It is, you know, the conduit that receives and verbalizes, and it's powerful. But the reality is our body is also an exquisite, intelligent vessel. And if you even just like unpackage that for a second, like what is, like why to some degree we give so much emphasis to the brain, the mind, and the consciousness and all this, but you realize that what about all of the trauma, all the somatic coding, all the things that's your body is uniquely absorbing and holding on to, an extension of your nervous system. So basically what I'm saying is, this is the thing I don't think a lot of people necessarily comprehend, and even myself to some degree, is you could live a life where your brain is like, but I'm happy, I have so much in my life is great, life is amazing, but you could be holding on to generations of trauma within your body, within your muscle fascia. Literally, even just in your muscle fascia alone, your hands, your body, you could be holding on to energetic, somatic, nervous system trauma, and of course even physical blunt force trauma that is sitting in there, locked in. And even to some degree, it's actually dramatic how you could have lived like 30 years of your life where you've never even begun to unpackage and release all of this that your body has absorbed. So you look at your life and like, why am I not thriving? Why am I not abundant? Why don't I see how beautiful this existence is? Even if you believe, you're like, you know what? I know there's more to this. It's because you haven't even understood that your vessel, your body, is a huge part of how you see the world. Your nervous system, but in relation to your body, it's holding on to so much tension, grief, emotions. It's like, and almost like this is the absurdity that I want to sort of underline, is like, how can you even begin to put in perspective how few of us actually begin to unpackage and honor our bodies to the greater totality of what it is imbuing in this world, to what is actually trying to reveal and perceive, right? Like if a lot of us were like, oh, weird, wait a second, you're telling me I've been holding on to 30 years of somatic and energetic trauma that's only been in my body. Like your mind could be like, but I understand philosophically, but I understand spiritually, I understand this even energetically. You have an awareness that, you know, you want to live an abundant reality, but your body, your emotions in relation to your body and all the emotions that are stored in your body has years and years and years and years of trauma and just maladaptive programming that it's just sitting there inside of it. What does this mean? Well, this means you need to actually start to release tension in your body. You need to honor your vessel. You need to, you know, learn how to connect and let your body be honored and nourished. Like this is the totality of it. It's like, I mean, I'm not an expert on these things. I consider myself somewhat of a student of these things. You know, I've spent like 15, 16 years training and basically developing to be a movement coach. That's what I desire to do. And you know, I do lots of cool stuff with my body. I dance like crazy. I have a lot of different ways that I find myself very reverent of the potential of the body. And that's just kind of what I want to emphasize here is like, if you're happy, don't look at what your narratives are telling you or not. You know, if you're unhappy or you're happy or whatever you're trying to unpackage, you could look at your philosophical domains. You probably should. But what you probably should be looking at, unless you're, you know, really confident that you're like, you know what, I've been doing many, many, many years of healthy body work and relations and somatic releasing, you probably need to look at your body and be really honest with yourself. You know, are you really honoring and nourishing your body? Like, are you realizing that there's more you can do to somatically reprogram yourself and then allow that to then align with what you know within this reality? Because again, as a dude who's just fortunate enough to have spent, you know, the upwards of 15, 16 years doing like all different forms of martial forms and acrobatic training and freeform movement training and dance and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, all these different things that are good for the body. Like, I'm not even just like, I live most of my life in a portal that is working on unpackaging and nourishing the body, like unpackaging the somatic coding in the body. It's just, this is just what I've done because I was like, you know what? I just desire to do this. And it's wild because the product of seeing that makes me so aware. I'm like, this is actually absurd how many people don't even realize fundamentally what's going on in their reality, where the body is a vessel. It's an exquisite messenger and a portal that, as again, Joe Dispenza literally underlines this exact thing. Like, many, many different professionals and counselors and speakers and literatures and even spiritual teachers, they're saying all the same thing, actually. Like, if you look at the way that the body and the emotions that are stored in the body are being processed, it is the sort of like the hidden link. It's the portal that can allow us to transcend into something different. Yeah. How to get all the trauma out. I'm holding on to too tight. I mean, I would say the simplest answer is like nourishing. You got to nourish your body. You got to give yourself permission to be like, you know what? My body deserves love, nourishment. It deserves safety. Like, it's almost like it's an internal practice until it also transforms into an external practice, where, because part of how I've even, you know, if I were to look at it in the most simple right, when I got a bunch of trucks flown through, when I go to like the gym, or I eat something healthy, or I go to a dance event and I connect with other humans and dance for hours and hours, like, I don't do those things out of any sort of like stringent sort of, you know, forced capacity. I do those things out of pure joy and love. Like, every time I go to the gym, like, I'm smiling, I'm lifting the weights, I'm freaking drinking tons of water, and I'm like, you know, every activity, I'm doing this out of pure love and joy. Like, it's almost like, I think the first, most immediate thing you gotta do to learn to release tension in your body and to nourish your body is to realize that it's all a playful, ecstatic, it's all a, what's the word I'm searching for? It's an honor. Like, it's a playful, ecstatic honor. It's an honor to be able to show up and nourish your body. It's not just a thing where you're just like, I have to do this. I have to go and force myself to do this and pick up this thing or eat well or doing that. It's like, you got to flip your narrative and realize it is an honor, if we're so to speak, to nourish your body. And when you see, again, what I'm trying to paint the picture is once you see on the other side of honoring your body, what it is once you honor your body, it honors you back. Like, if you're looking at like, why am I holding on to so much tension and so much grief and trauma and this and that, it's because you've never learned to let it go, to release these things. And that's the thing, is like, it's a weird, it might appear in your life as like, you know, you basically, what I'm saying is you might have a lot of limiting beliefs into how you can honor and empower your body. And this doesn't have to begin with forcing yourself to do anything. You don't have to like drop everything, go to the gym and start doing yoga every day or whatever. You can do that if you want, but it probably is going to start with a very patient, loving narrative. You know, just being like, you know what? Like, just looking and being present with your body and just like breathing with your body. You know, being like, I am safe. I love myself. Sending love to your body, you know, dancing, moving. Like, that's how it actually should look like. You know, it's like, you don't have to take a very masculine approach. I'm a man. I fucking love masculine energy. Like, it's been a huge part of my journey is healing and honoring, integrating masculine energy as a whole in the universe, not just like as a human being, but, you know, feminine energy is a part of this universe, of course, for the feminine, for all of us. It's not just about taking arduous action and doing this and that for your body, but it's also about just like surrendering into like a loving embrace. Like, you know, sending your body love giving it attention and bliss and time to just be like letting yourself know, letting your body know that it deserves love. Like it's almost like a cliche thing in sort of the spiritual world or in this world. Is like, you just got to give your body some love. Like, let it know it's loved, just really understand the way in this world that you can send your body love. And the simplest, right, this is easy stuff, like sitting in meditation, doing maybe some stretching, or sitting in a bath, or just feminine ways. These are very feminine ways of honoring the body. But again, as a man, I don't know, I like to honor my body by going for cold plunges and, sitting in nature and freaking hitting the heavy bag and doing weird trippy acrobatics and lifting weights and, I don't know, as it is, eating nourishing food. It's just, there's a multitude of ways, and I'm not trying to be like promote fully on, and I'm advocating, all those things, but it's more about understanding why nourishing and honoring the body is important. It is like the hidden piece of the puzzle that a lot of people can acknowledge, holds weight. It's important. It's like, obviously, like anyone and everyone knows that it's like, yes, it's good to be healthy and honor the body. But it's like, why is it good and healthy to honor the body? Like, this is the thing I'm really trying to instill, is like, do you really understand what's actually the purpose of doing these nourishing practices? Because if you did, like, this is kind of like coaching, training mentality 101. It's like, it's not just being like, okay, I do these things because I have to. It's like, you get to do these things, but if you understood why, say, nourishing your body, showing up and honoring your body, if you understood why, like from a felt level, you looked at your life and you're like, oh wow, like I'm so grateful that I'm honoring and nourishing my body, and seeing the way it's honored you back, it wouldn't be a question in the world. Like, you'd be getting up every day with a big smile on your face and be like, yes, I get to rock some handstands or do some yoga or eat this healthy food. Like, it's like there's a level of cognitive dissonance at play, a deep level of cognitive dissonance when people don't have that relationship that's healthy with their body formed. Like, it's operating out of fear, out of scarcity, out of so much fundamental dysfunction, when in the simplest right, people should be waking up and be like, you know what, I do want to honor and nourish my body. They should be looking at their lives and be like, wow, I have this opportunity, this window to do something to love my body and honor. Like, that's what a person that has, a fuller, deeper awareness of how pivotal your relationship with your body and your somatic coding is. And it's unfortunate because, like, the product of, holding on to so much tension and not letting yourself release all that which the body is storing on a deep level is a lot of the pathology that we experience. Like, if you look at the greater totality of how people experience like chronic inflammation or genetic, or not even genetic, just all the different health disorders you can imagine, a lot of it has to do with basically the greater totality of all these slowly building factors of how their body's relationship has been formed. It's almost like without going on too deep of a rabbit hole, because I'm not an expert in this field, of course, is a lot of illnesses that you'll experience, a lot of like chronic physiological issues, are actually the result of years and years and years of neglecting certain systems in your body. It's almost like there's a lot of research behind that. If you're a person that is basically, let's say, what's the word? You're basically doing preventative measures. You're taking preventative measures. You're just doing basic things that honor your health. Your rate of which you're going to, say, experience, it's like some sort of chronic debilitating illness or some sort of rapidly, crazy degenerative disorder, it declines so rapidly. Like, it's almost like preventative care in the decisions you make in relation to your body, it slowly compounds against your ability to receive a lot of these things. Now, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical doctor. There's obviously exceptions, there's obviously genetic predispositions and disorders, but there's so much perspective and so much research behind how people are basically coming back from insane things. You know, they are healing their bodies, very simply. This is like, again, all Joe Dispenza-esque is your ability to understand how to heal your body has a lot to do with acknowledging how powerfully your physiological body is influencing your neurological body, and then in turn your energetic body, and then in turn your psychological body. Like, they're all entrenched and they're compounding and compiling based on everything you do. So it's like, you know, if you're a person that's like, okay, I'm going to do all these things to honor your body, you're also honoring the greater totality of every system that you're in, and you're also creating this ripple. It's like, basically that's what I'm trying to say with all this random stuff, is like, you're creating ripples. Like, you know, if you're rippling into a direction where you're honoring your health and you're living a, you know, really vital, just fruitful health, then that's the product of a vast array of decisions that you can set in course way before you experience any sort of like health issues. And this has been proven. Like, people like Joe Dispenza, literally his entire life's work revolves around this exact dimension of things. It's like, we're not helpless in many rights, where we think that, like, we're just, you know, almost, what's the word? You know, it's like at random, you wake up one day and suddenly you have a chronic debilitating illness, and it's like, where did this come from? I guess this is just your destiny. It's like, that's not how it works. It's like, you are the product of a vast array of compounding elements that have a lot to do with how you are treating your body and the decisions you're making that are compiling over years and years and years and years. And you can reverse this. You can reverse this process. You can allow yourself to honor your body, nourish your body, and let this translate into nourishing your thoughts and your brain health, and, you know, reverse things that you think you could never reverse. This is literally what Joe Dispenza's research is underlining and is constantly making breakthroughs on. Whew. Better spit than split. Interesting. I think I just need to hydrate. Natural fear. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Hey, happy to have you here, Amber. The unmanifest. I think that says it all, brother. I'm not even gonna roast. Not even gonna roast the homie. I've experienced building stone walls that seem the type of time travel. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, brother. The tapping into the ancient ancestry that's still locked in the body. I've had experience building stone walls that seem like a type of time travel. That's really beautiful, man. Wow. Deeply relevant and very much right on par. I've eaten some strange stuff, spitting the poison out. No, I've just been sick over the past 5-6 days, and yeah, very dry. Yeah, unfortunately my sinuses are very dry. It's fortunately getting a lot better, but that's why I've been kind of just like, yeah, my sinuses are very dry. I've been speaking a lot of words. High energy food is good. Yeah, it's, again, these aren't very complex things, you know, but I'm just trying to, the whole point of why I'm underlining a lot of these things, what I really hope I'm articulating successfully, even to some degree, is I'm trying to sort of do, again, almost like what I was underlining what coaches or trainers do. Like, if you were to go to a personal trainer, you're like, hey, I'm gonna pay you XYZ amount of money, and, you know, you have a session with a personal trainer. They're gonna assess certain elements of your history, your genetics, your health, whatever. But the essence of what a personal trainer does, like any trainer of any sort that you can imagine, they all do the same thing. They're trying to allow you to shed awareness onto why, you know, why you are really on the deepest level desiring to see what's on the other side of this practice. You know, if they're like, oh, but, and because the essence of why you're not already, you know, just getting up every day and going for runs and eating healthy and going, picking up weights and doing things that are honoring your body is because there's a fundamental part of you in your narrative, in your felt experience, in your reality that actually doesn't understand why. You don't understand your why. You don't understand the greater why. I remember when I was studying to be a personal trainer, actually, because I studied this for like several months, didn't actually desire to become a trainer. I realized I actually didn't want to become just a trainer. It bored me to tears. But I studied this for like 7, 8 months. I loved it. Studying personal training is very interesting. You study a whole list of things, and it took me a long time to just really unpackage these things. But I came to some core conclusions that, yeah, personal trainers, they're offering you accountability. But again, the deeper thing they're trying to do is they're trying to basically show you with a level of embodiment and, letting you embody it yourself, the why. Why? What is the actual underlying reason why someone desires to wake up and train or go to the gym? And there's a lot of whys. Like, I'll be really clear here. There is a long list of things that you can unpackage that you will find if you're like an athlete or desire to be an athlete, you go on the athletic path. There is a massive list of things that you can find, many different reasons. You know what? This is my why. Or like, because of does this for maybe this dimension of your expression, or maybe your brain health in this regard, or there's just a billion reasons to honor when you're honoring your body. But part of being a trainer is literally just like pulling those threads and trying to make other people basically come to the same realization that they already know to some degree. Like, it's not a very complex thing. You're just like, you're showing up every day, helping them see what their own why is and why they're connecting with their body. And a good trainer will often give you the ability to, almost creatively unpackage that. Like, they'll show you, like, they're like, oh, but there's like all these different beautiful elements of the diet, of the mind, of the body, that when you kind of hear what they're saying, you understand from their perspective, if they're like an athlete for X amount of time, like, wow, there's a lot of powerful, extraordinary reasons why this person gets up every day and honors their body in such a way. And once you begin to unpackage that and see that for yourself, then beautiful, you've discovered your own why. Food for thought, though. Ashay's like a radio antenna tuned in. I thank you. I know it's very random. This is not the regular type of stream, but today I was like, you know what? I'm just here to go for a walk through the forest and kind of just like, I don't know, just drop some perspective. And honestly, I stand behind everything I say, because this is a thing I was observing the other day. I was going for my running cold plunge, and I found myself unpackaged some core truths. And part of my core truth that I was unpackaging was relating to what I love about being a streamer. Being a live streamer, being a YouTuber, it all is a synonymous thread where what I realize is it strengthens my ability to basically speak my truth. In the core of it, it's like speak my truth, but in a way that is intuitive, that's aligned. I'm basically what I'm saying, the essence of it is it strengthens my ability to stand behind the words that I say. Truly. When I look at even like the last hour 45, and even especially the last concentrated the hour, I could go back. I don't watch my streams back unless I'm trying to clip something, but if I were to go back to my stream and listen to like 99% of everything I'm saying, I'm like, okay, I went through here to here, all of these things, I stand behind every word. It doesn't need to like resonate with you. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. That's beautiful. Like, if it does, then you are my target audience. But the reality is, even if this camera were not on and I was just doing this, which I do as well, where I sit here and conceptualize, I philosophize, I psychoanalyze, I know for a fact that I'm in alignment with everything I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying any of these things because I'm just like, I want to hear myself speak, or because I'm trying to speak from the ego. These words all have deep meaning and alignment with my own experience, and hopefully an alignment to how this is flowing through. Like, even the beginning of the stream, when the one homie was asking, he was 12-year-old buddy that was like, I didn't even know he was 12. He was like asking me like, I want to be a content creator. I want to be a YouTuber. And I remember being like, all right, amazing. That's great, brother. And then being like, let's talk about what this means to be a creator. And let's be really honest here of why or why not should one be a creator, what's to consider, and went in a very interesting direction. I have to say, I liked a lot of the way I found myself underlining, just the fact of like, yes, you should be a creator if you desire to, but also understand the deeper underlying context is not whether you should be a creator or not, or what is your YouTube vision. That's all important, creative, or important and relevant, but it's more important to understand what is your relationship with your brain, what is your relationship with dopamine, and further, what is your relationship with your phone and social media in relation to both of those things. If you can't confidently say that, yes, I'm a person that has autonomy and awareness over my relationship with my dopamine in relation to my phone, you probably should not be leaning into trying to be a content creator, at least not at this phase of your existence. And these are important things. These are truly, I'd say, extremely pivotal parts of not only just being a human in 2026, but if you're like, you know what, I do desire to become a creator, even just one day, even if it's like not a YouTuber or you just want to just chill and, I don't know, just learn how to have a healthier relationship with your phone, and maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. It's like there's some underlying things related to your brain health, your relationship with, yeah, just dopamine as a whole, that if you've never addressed or, you know, have yet to address fully, it's going to be detrimental. Like basically, if you don't have a healthy grasp on your brain health and you try to be a content creator, and I've spoken of this, you know, many times, it can be detrimental, or can be detrimental, if not destructive. Like you'll literally be like, you'll go on that path, and the next thing you know, you've really negatively impacted your life. So I think it's like, it's interesting to think about those kind of core things. Is like, yeah. Hope you have a great night, Moon Stars. Thank you for being here. Again, I know a lot of it was like very cognitively dense. Some of it, you know, had some beautiful sort of metaphysical relation to it. Because again, weirdly enough, pretty much everything I said beyond the stuff about content creation, which deeply, you know, weaves into my whole journey, it's stuff that is addressed at one time or another in this Joe Dispenza book here. Yeah, microphone's still on here. But it's wild to say, it's like a lot of what I'm underlining. Now, obviously, Joe Dispenza, it's a book. It's like he has a whole world of thought relating to many different things, but in the most core part of it is a lot of what I'm talking about, like your relationship with your body, your mind, and your psychology, and your neurology, how they relate to each other, and metaphysics, and all that. It's all covered in this book. Not to promote, I'm obviously no affiliation with Joe Dispenza or anything, but yeah, if you have any desire to truly read a really beautiful book that has some very powerful, I would say, concepts and dynamics covered, yeah, Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural is a good place to start, I would say. Even if you just desire to like unpackage entry-level metaphysics, like metaphysical philosophy, which in truth, in modern 2026, without being too, you know, forthcoming or blatant, is a thing that I think most people should begin to start trying to unpackage. Like if you're just like, you know what, I want to learn about the mind, I want to learn about philosophy, or I want to learn how to understand what we're shifting into as a society, it's probably wise to begin to study some metaphysical philosophy. I think for a second we're going to try to unplug our, this will be trippy. There we go. So this is our beautiful lav mic we're using to kind of experiment with a higher tier of audio. But for now, I think we're going to unplug everything so we can just hear the external audio that's feeding through my Google Pixel phone. I think it really helps for songwriting, or just improv. Especially sun and the moon, and the sun is God. Very fair. Each time I randomly drop in here, I hear the exact same things I need to help my life. Oh, wow. My dude, I have that book, and I have been too lazy to read it. Whoa. Well, I mean, that's beautiful, brother. Thank you for sharing and chiming in. And I have to say, this is definitely then, like, without a shadow of doubt, I could say this with a grain of salt, but this is literally your sign from the universe. Then, like, this is your genuine, immediate, personal sign from the universe to tell you, probably to even just read parts of this book or take it with a grain of salt, because if there's anything that I like to successfully do on this channel, and even I do this obviously in the real world all the time, kind of in relation to what I was talking about being a trainer. Like when you're a trainer, or you take on a trainer, you basically, thank you so much, brother. But it's almost like you're basically trying to embody something that's basically being like a direct conduit or a sign from the universe to someone else. So basically, it's like, if you're to say, like, this is what's on the other side of this portal, like, say, to read this book, or maybe practice the guitar, or maybe train or become a trainer or become a YouTuber, that's literally the same thing that I'm trying to embody. It's trying to show you, but there's something on the other side of this portal that you are now on the path to entering. And I do this with many things. Again, whether it's like playing the guitar, it's like, oh, this is what it looks like to play the guitar on such a level. Or if you're like, I want to be a content creator, or maybe you want to, I don't know, do whatever you want to do. It's like the basis of what I desire to do is to sort of be an embodiment, so someone can be like, you know what, maybe I do want to pick up that book, or maybe I do want to engage in this kind of practice, because they now enjoy what they see is on the other side of embodying that. But anyway, thank you so much, dog. Just became a third describer. Wow. But thank you, Carmen. Deeply appreciate you supporting. Oh wait, I deleted it. No, I didn't want to delete that. How do I undelete? Shit. I accidentally deleted the... I'll do a heart there. But I was trying to do that heart and it just deleted the comment. But the beauty of it is, like, if you understand that to some degree, is like, that's kind of the level of potency that we can apply. If you desire to be a content creator, or maybe you just want to, just show up in the real world and be around people, be a mirror to people, or just embody your highest truth. Because, kind of deviating from this, but something that I really strongly stand behind is, I think it's really important to just be your most authentic self. Like, embody your authentic truth. If you're just like, whether you're singing your heart out, or reading poetry, or, just walking down the street and talking to people and expressing what you're feeling, is like, people so deeply do in fact need your presence. They need your authentic presence. They need it. Like, they need that embodiment for many different reasons that you couldn't even imagine. Like, people need you to, in a weird context, maybe go to a show and dance and express your heart out. People, like, your presence really deeply matters, more than you can imagine. Like, your authentic presence. And I think it's very interesting, but also, when I see this as a YouTuber, where I'm just like showing up and kind of just doing these things, it's immediately very affirming, where I'm like, like, this is, even if I'm just kind of desensitized to it to some degree, it is significant. There's people that, even if they're just like seeing me talk about guitar, and I like play a guitar chord, and they're like, you know what, I think I want to wake up and pick up my guitar. I want to, I don't know, move towards whatever higher path you desire to go on. That is really beautiful. Yeah. Use a car, man. I appreciate that. Dog. I've been kind of just chilling today, kind of just speaking many different truths. But yeah, I deeply appreciate you supporting the channel, brother. Honestly, that's like I really like to be clear. It's like, there's zero pressure or expectation, where it's like, every donation, every gem and thing definitely goes towards this channel's growth. But it's like, I'm also in a place where, as a creator, and I'm very honest about this, is like, I desire to create like a large brand. Like, I'm in a place where I want to make money from sponsors and from ad revenue. And of course, I'm very new to this YouTube thing in the larger construct, but I really want to be abundant, from this YouTube thing, that, people can donate here and there. And I like deeply appreciate the support. Like, it's a very sincere gesture that reminds me that what I'm doing is like, it impacts people. But it's great to see. It's like, I know for a fact I really desire to, grow a larger community and a brand that has sponsors. That's like doing the whole YouTube thing in its wholeness. But yeah. Anyways, c'est la vie. I'm just waiting for my food, and high quality content is good. Better than stupid stuff about games and nonsense. Yeah, yeah. That's super valid. I mean, I have to say, it's like, that's kind of a thing I realized very early on, when I was doing this content creation stuff. At first, is like, there is a lot of strange things in the content world. Like, that is, there's a lot of content out there that, for whatever reason, it's very unconscious. It's very of the world of the Matrix, which is okay. Like, it's just like, we're humans. It's nice to have whatever that is, but it's almost like I think the bar is very low in some respects. Without like kind of pivoting, it's like I think there's a deep necessity for a different tier of content. Whether it's like a dude just talking about metaphysical philosophy, as I love to do, or talking about brain health, or playing guitar and talking about learning guitar and etc. It's like I really feel that I desire to sort of like penetrate the YouTube space with a level of something that is different. And obviously it's also part of why I desire to be a YouTuber, is like I feel like I have something to bring to this YouTube sphere. And it's kind of full circle, really commenting on what I was speaking of like an hour and a half ago at the start of the stream, is like, or 2 hours ago, is like, what do you really, if you're a creator, you're like, I want to be a content creator, even just one day, you're like, I want to develop a content business of some sort, exceptional. If that's a vision, you're like, I desire to do this, but it's about like, what do you want to bring and contribute to this content sphere? Like, what's your vision, that you desire to be like, I have an ambitious vision that I really would love to bring to this world. And without going on too deep of a tangent, I honestly think that's actually probably the essence of pretty much all things at the root of it. Is basically, if you yourself can give yourself permission to be like, what, just be ambitious, like have a vision, no matter what. It's like, I truly can say from my own experience, a lot of what I could actually, a lot of my own personal success, like even just as a guitarist, as a human being or whatever, is literally just to that singular thing. At a young age, like I remember being like 9 years old and being like, what, I want to be a rock star. Like seeing myself, envisioning myself on a stage, rocking out, jumping around, throwing kicks. Like, it's just like, ever since I remember, I always gave myself full permission to just make really intense visions of the reality, like ambitious visions. Like, if you have something you want to do in this world, why not just be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna aim really, really, really high. Like, why not just be like, what, there's nothing stopping you from doing the most like outlandish, seemingly impossible thing. Like, I think it's just that simple sometimes. It's like, it's important to just give yourself permission to just aim really high. Like, have really high ambitions. If you're gonna be a YouTuber, why not be like, what, I'm gonna have a few million subscribers. If you're gonna, do anything in this world, why not just be like incredibly ambitious with the visions that you desire to hold within? Because I'll be honest, from a guy that's done that for most of my life, it translates very well. Like, it's like Bruce Lee said. It's like Bruce Lee really advocated. It's like, your vision is not something you're, to achieve, but it's something to aim at. And that's exactly that. It's like, you don't have to achieve all the most wild, visions in the world, but it's like, you should be, in fact, giving yourself permission to realize that you can achieve that. Like, being like, I'm aiming to be XYZ, whatever ambition. Like, I think probably that's the one thing, if anything, that, could be like so fundamentally disheartening or malaligning, is if you just don't give yourself permission. Like, what, you can just envision anything and make that a reality, or move towards that reality. Excuse me. Anyways, Food for thought. Food for thought. Karma is unique in NZ and only have met one other. Brilliant. That's awesome. My name is Stefan. Appreciate you, Stefan. Appreciate it. My name's Ryan, actually, yeah. I go by Osho. That's like my business brand, my moniker. I don't know if you're new to this channel, but I've actually... Osho is like a... It's an ancient word that has like deep, deep spiritual meaning in many different words or many different cultures. But to me, personally, it actually has like a deep significance. Like I found the word Osho flowed through me about 9-10 years ago when I did my first Chenga experience, which is a form of DMT. But yeah, long story short, Osho has been like deeply significant. But yeah, my name's Ryan. But nice to meet you, dog. That's Stefan. I appreciate you being here, brother. It seems like you yourself are also on a really beautiful path. Like I can see from the way that a lot of what I've said, you know, about Joe Dispenza and sort of metaphysical dimensions, it resonates. Like that's really good to hear, dog. Yeah. And pleasure to meet you as well. Carmen. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, very unique name. Yeah. Probably the most common name in my generation. Michael and Stefan. Ah. So we're just going to plug in this here through the interface. Without meditation, you not know the secret of life. Looks like my title to the stream was botched. Without meditation, you not know the secret of life. I forgot the do. Maybe that's why many people aren't clicking the stream. Yeah, I forgot the do. I forgot the do, it appears, when I was typing the title for the stream. That's just gold. That's so great. Okay. Let me move on with these. There we are. Well, thank you. Yeah, I've always loved the name Ryan. Yeah, it's a great name. For some reason, some people, they kind of, you know, they express, they're like, this is not really, I don't feel like a this or that, but I've always felt like a Ryan ever since I was very young. It's like, yeah, that's very resonant. Say Stefan's so strange, they never heard it. Stefan. I don't know, bro. I also sort of my nasal passageways are kind of a little bit nasally, because I'm like kind of getting over a cold of a sort. Find meditation hard. Yeah, that's why I really wanted to emphasize it. I was like, I think a lot of people don't really understand, like, philosophically, just how life-changing meditation is. I mean, I've been like, I actually was very open where I had a lysergamide, or Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds episode, like a trip. I had a microdose experience like a couple weeks back, that actually changed my entire relationship with meditation. Well, for me, I haven't like really had a consistent meditative practice probably in like years. Like I meditate, every once in a while, but then I had a point where I started meditating for like an hour or two every single day for about a week, and that really evolved my perspective. But yeah, Osho, a lot of Osho's practice, because Osho himself was basically a tantric guru who had a meditative retreat. His whole community was a meditative retreat community, and a lot of his entire life's work was revolving around meditation. So yeah, Osho said it beautifully. Unfortunately, I kind of botched the quote, but absolutely, there's so much good literature and perspective about meditation from Osho and his work. The Celestine Prophecies. Wow, never heard of that. Wow. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate you, Don. I knew the books about Celestine Prophecies. Wow. Interesting. Thank you for sharing. I mean, I'll give it a look. Celestine Prophecies. Celestine Prophecy. It's a spiritual adventure, a novel by James Redfield that explores 9 key insights into human consciousness and energy. Wow. Okay. That is wild. Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life. That's wow. That's cool as fuck. My parents pick it up for a reason. The name, I mean. Yeah. Absolutely, brother. When I was my first teacher, weed was my first teacher when I grew up. Osho knew how it works. I could see that. Yeah, I honestly haven't smoked weed in like 11 years now, but yeah, I don't know. I have to say, the ability to access meditation clearly is like a deeply woven thing. It's like, but in the simplest way, it is a portal. Like once you enter it, once you see the value of it, once you like nurture that portal. Oh, word, looks like I'm at 20%. I guess I gotta charge my phone at some point. Honestly, for now, though, let's take this, kind of place this in a more natural position. Man, I need to drink water. One second. I need this lav mic here. It feels so weird, honest to say it. It almost feels very professional, but it's like strange to be mic'd up and have everything mic'd up. Makes it sound really good though. I'm looking forward to listening back on the stream, just seeing how awesome this audio quality is. Like even if I go into my YouTube on my computer, like how does my quality of audio sound? Like how does my quality of audio sound? So this is how it sounds. Not mic'd up.
Feeling it in your body. Because if your mind is like feeling, you know, wow, so many things to feel happy for, and, you know, maybe you, again, little, you know, little hat thing for the mic, it kind of is a very, I want to have fun. Your body needs to feel something. Say, but, and the most core part of it is a lot of what I'm talking about. It's your relationship with your body, your mind, and your psychology.
Interesting.
I'm like, yeah, like we're not getting over.
Interesting. It's so subtle, the difference between my audio when it's mic'd up, but really awesome though. Nice story. Maybe you can find a reading. This incredible book fully opened my eyes. Yeah. Got me away from antidepressants. Thank you so much, Larry. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that so much. 30 joules. That's legendary. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been experimenting a lot with miking stuff up. Let's return the mic, just for the sake of exploring experiment. I'm just kind of listening back right now in real time how my audio sounds.
You know, anything.
Those are my words. Yep, words. I want to hear my guitar.
Send me our lives.
I just started miking up my guitar actually in my audio today with lab mics.
Right, you.
So I'm very excited. I'm like, I love this quality difference. Blah, 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 still saying words.
You are the one that has.
Yes.
Or no, who knows? For them. For fun. I mean, it's like 40 minutes session. Hear a good quality cut. And then see it as, and no bass.
Interesting. Oh.
You hear those, the illusion. Step outside. Funny, because again, not never, but spiritual, the grandest.
We'll find it. It sounds like my guitar is not as audible. Let's go back to the start here. It's not as audible as I would like it to be, but yo, I'm learning guitar. I've been having trouble with small hands and bar chords. Any tips? Fair enough. I mean, that's a very common experience. Truthfully, I also pretty small hands. Like, you see, I would say, in essence, for learning bar chords, a lot of learning bar chords. I actually had this conversation with another friend literally just 2 days ago because she was learning, you know, basis of a lot of guitar stuff, and she was interested in bar chords and kind of expressing how tricky they are. When I was very new to guitar, you know, when I was like very young, when I was like 12 years old and stuff, a lot of learning, oh yeah, I gotta remove this here. A lot of learning like the basics of guitar require finger strength. You know, it's like there's a lot of things that, like doing a bar chord right, is, the essence of it has a lot to do with thumb placement. Like you want to have a really good balanced thumb placement. Like if you're doing a bar chord, like thumb placement, overall placement as a whole. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm playing a B minor, I'm doing a perfect level of placement of placing tension on the chord itself, you know, of course my barred finger, but also my thumb placement, which I do this kind of little weird angle where I'm like, it's almost like a floating thumb, where I'm really pressing tension. Like if you want to see it from this angle, it's like I'm placing it into there, but it's like my thumb is almost like acrobatic in the way it is if I'm doing a bar chord. Now my thumb changes if I'm doing like, you know, lots of stuff. I basically have my thumb just chilling. It's like floating up here. But if I'm doing chords, then absolutely immediately it falls into the position where it's like doing like a sort of like weird 45-degree angle pointing that way, where it's basically floating and it's changing based on exactly where my bar chord is placed. You know, it's almost like it's like underneath where my bar chord is and perfectly propping it up. But the essence of it, no matter where your thumb placement is or how good your thumb placement is or is not, you need to have finger strength as a whole. Like your fingers need to have that foundational strength, and of course the calluses that are supporting the strength, so you can get that clean application. So yeah, it's like you basically, what I would say to learn bar chords is don't probably try to focus bar chords particularly, just focus on every and any element of guitar. So maybe like legatos, like basic hammering on, fretting, sliding, pulling off, maybe not tapping and whatever, but do the basics of guitar stuff so much, just whatever that is, like maybe power chords, which is, that's also another element of, is like power chords are basically just dyads. So it's like, you play a chord, you can play a B minor power chord, or you can, or sorry, a B minor bar chord, or you can just play a power chord, which is just basically doing the same chord, but you're just doing 2 fingers. So I'm like putting my pointer finger here on the 2nd fret, 5th string, and then I'm putting my 3rd finger here on this 4th fret on the 4th string. And then I'm strumming those 3, or those 2, or whatever. But the idea is, yeah, you gotta just basically develop finger strength. Like, that's the weird part. I talk about this a lot, and I honestly don't have the entire immediate answer to this, but the vast variety of how, or the vast majority, so my brain is, the vast majority of how you learn a lot of guitar stuff is reliant on having calluses developed and having basic finger strength. So it's almost like you can confidently accept that there's a lot of techniques that you will never be able to do unless you already have calluses and finger strength. So basically, the basis of, if you're like, okay, I need to get bar chords down, because bar chords, they're great. They're very diverse. You want them, but you want to learn how to integrate them. But the first tier of learning is you need to develop finger strength and calluses. And for me, as a young guitarist, how I did that was not even thinking about bar chords. Because again, I also have small hands. I just did not think about bar chords for like 5-6 years. I did power chords. Maybe I would do little open chords. But I would often just do whatever it is on guitar that was not bar chords, so I could develop calluses and finger strength. Because the second you have calluses and good finger strength, then, thumb placement and maybe like precision of placement, that will be the next variables that will allow you to execute bar chords. But if you don't have finger strength and don't have calluses, bar chords won't even ever be a reality. But once they are, they are. Like, that's the thing, is like, don't get discouraged. Be patient with yourself when you're new to guitar, because once you have calluses, once you have the finger strength, so much of guitar will just flow. Once you, of course, also again have things like spatial awareness and fretboard awareness. I don't know, it's whatever attracts you to pick up the guitar and consistently apply in the guitar. If that's legatos, or if that is basic open chords or power chords. But all you need to do is you need to develop that finger strength and callus strength. Once you got those, then bar chords will eventually open up. But for me, again, I didn't do bar chords for like freaking 5, 6, 7 years, because I was just like, I can't ever do them because my hands are small and can never execute bar chords. So I just forgot that they existed. And then after like 5, 6, 7 years, when I was really good at like legatos, and maybe it won't take you 5, 6, 7 years, I was like also like 10 years old. So my finger strength was still developing as a whole, as is many things. But once I got calluses and once I developed the finger strength, then I've been doing guitar for about 16 and a half years now. The greater half of my guitar journey has been like, oh word, like bar chords, they're everything. Like I can just I can do crazy fingerstyle stuff. And it's just yeah. Reverb sounds strange. Yeah. What means small hands? Not native English. Not native English. Aye. Yeah, if that makes sense, like hands, hands. He means, I guess, yeah, like small hands. Relax. Take a classic posture. Body of guitar rests in raised left hand leg. Very nice. Yeah. What's good? Welcome, Michelle. Michelle of Yellis, or Yahuwah. Yahuwah. Yeah, but what is referring to the most used hand? Ah, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like I also have small hands. You know, they're not like that small, but they are like objectively. If you're trying to talk about like doing a bar chord, like even like let's be real here. If you want to do like that, that's not an easy chord, especially if you're new. Like you want to do like that, beautiful chord. It's like a triad sort of jazz chord, right? And if you do drop D, you'll use those shapes a lot. Well, you'll be like this or like that. Like that, that's not an easy shape. But once you eventually strengthen your hands and you have, you know, strong range of motion, which is a thing for me actually I achieved from dancing. I do finger dancing. Like I do finger tutting and all that. But like if you increase your range of motion, even with tiny hands, you can access any chord. But you have to just strengthen your hands. You gotta just like, you just gotta develop that. And whole body. Thumb is placed the opposite side of the index. Yeah. Yeah. Do all types of finger yoga. Yeah, see, that's the part of it. Like, that's the parallel that actually probably crystallizes a lot of how I personally is. Again, I'm also, yeah, like, again, a finger tutter. I do tons of dance. I do tutting, finger tutting, waving, popping, locking, liquid, animation. Like, I do tons of different styles of dance. And finger tutting is extremely good for increasing your range of motion and finger strength, and of course rhythm, dexterity. Like I'm actually part of how I've learned to do improvisation on the guitars because of the way that I know how to do improv with dance. Like that's the exact parallel. Is actually when I try to break down how to learn improv, the reason why I can do improv on the guitar, like you know how I do. All of that was built off the same methods that I use, or the same foundational awareness of how I improvise and dance. Like it's almost like if you think about it, it's like you can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can also be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do like basically you can do basic patterns where it's linear. It's very one-dimensional. You can be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can just do like 1, 2, 3, 4. And the idea is you can do the same on guitar, where it's like you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can just like improv is really about breaking open the models and the structures of how you commonly perceive things and developing your own style based on these models that you split open. That's a whole other story. But in the essence of it, yeah, if you can develop your finger strength, I also do lots of handstands. Actually, tons of handstands. Handstand push-ups. I do them every single day. And I superset everything that I train with handstands. So food for thought, you know? Train your hands any given which way. There's no wrong. I'm personally a fan of finger dancing and handstand push-ups, but whatever works. Looks like we're losing our human beings, or losing the eyes. Yeah. Some hand gong, active qigong with hands. Nice, very cool, brother. Me as well. I do tons of qigong. That's another thing is like handstands. Yeah, things like qigong, very good for dance, but also just good for literally everything. Yeah. Okay, let's see where. I'm going to go ahead and mic myself up again, just for quality. That's what I'm looking for. Man, I'm really looking forward to not being nasally, like having my voice finally not nasally restricted. Just simple things in life. Just breathing through the nose and not having your nasal passageways blocked. Some of the simple joys in life. All right, where is... Excuse me. Okay, let's flip that down, actually. Yeah, we don't want to be on 4 decibels. Let's be on... There we go. Ah, I see our decibel level changed. Testing 1, 2. Testing. Like-minded people wrote or drawn together. That's what Jane Redfield wrote in this book. Mind-like people are drawn. Yeah, yeah. People, well, that's the thing is people are portals. Like, we are portals. People, be it it's community members, people you come across in the street, romantic partners. People have such incredible capacity to attract and gravitate around each other and transform each other. But the beauty of it is like people also have different levels of alignment. It's like you basically are a reflection of the people that you're attracting, and it's like what you can basically notice. Like this is a sort of different parallel. Is there's different tiers, if you will, or different vibrations and vibrational expressions of people. There's different standards of people. It's almost like the similar rule of thumb that I really advocate really strongly is it's important to have standards in life, especially when we're talking about, say, communities or, I don't know, maybe fitness facilities or romantic partners, because there's different tiers that is different levels of alignment in all the different expressions of people you will come across in your life. So if you come across people and you're like, man, you know what, they're like, they sort of align with me, or like, they're kind of kindred, or they sort of are in alignment with my values, my thing, then that's all that will become. But you realize there's different levels of alignment continuously. So it's important to understand this, especially when we're talking about romantic partners, if we're going to underline that, is like, you will find increasing levels of alignment continuously. I've seen this in real time. Like, the actuality of the romantic partners I've had in my life have all existed on this very beautiful linear slope of positively becoming more and more aligned continuously. It's basically like when you set a higher standard of alignment, of what you desire to align and attract in this world, you will attract and align that. And this applies to everything. But of course, when you're talking about a mirror, a portal that is something like a romantic partner, or people that you just spend a lot of time with, even further important. You can be like, but this person's kind of aligned, has some shared values. They fit some sort of model or higher vibrational expression of what you desire to see in your life. But you realize that gets deeper and deeper. Like it's a very deep rabbit hole where you can find increasing levels of alignment almost endlessly. So it's just food for thought. Like, if you're like, people are the people that you surround yourself with, you're like, well, they're kind of cool, or they're kind of aligned, or they kind of have kindred values, they're kind of empowering, inspiring me. You realize that gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So you should desire to set that bar very high. Be like, but what is on the other side of engaging in a deeper level of alignment? And it's very cool once you see this. Because you're just like, damn, there is a lot of extraordinary powerfully aligned human beings in this world, and all you have to do is decide that, you know, this is what I desire to align myself with. Port all. Open up to the world and find yourself in everything and everyone. Yeah, that's fair. Everyone has a potential and an important message for us. Of course. I mean, that's the parallel where, that's why I really love to sort of emphasize that it's about your level of alignment. It's not about saying like people are above or below anyone else or any given regard, because yes, every single person you meet, every single one has an extraordinary powerful lesson that you can learn from. Everyone is your teacher, everyone is your guide. And doesn't matter who they are. They could be a complete stranger that's on a completely different path. You know, it's like every single person can teach you something extraordinary. But when, again, we're talking about alignment and you really look at like the greater construct of what you want to attract in this world, of who you want to become, you know, if you want to really achieve higher visions of who you are and, you know, align yourself with very particular things, it is important to realize the different vibrational experiences and the different dimensions of intentionality that you can infuse within your reality. And again, it's like, it's kind of like what Osho said, is like, nobody, what is it? Everybody's different from one each other, or no, it's like nobody is different. How did he say? Let's say Osho, he basically was saying that no one is above each other, no one is below each other, but everyone has something unique that we can offer each other. I think that's basically what he said. Let's see how we can find the exact quote. It's a very beautiful quote, but it's very true. Because we're not below or above each other, but we do, in fact, we are all living in different realities. We all have different unique things that we can reflect onto each other. And it's important to realize that. Osho, no one is above each other. Something like that. Let's find this quote. It's a beautiful quote. Nobody is superior, nobody is inferior, but nobody is equal either. People are simply unique, incomparable. Osho, you are you and I am I. I have to contribute my potential to life, and you have to contribute your potential to life. Osho, no one has the power to take 2 steps together. Can only take 1 step at a time. Osho. A lot of great quotes. Oh, damn. Looks like my phone's at 10%. 10% there. we should probably exit the stream the next, like, probably 10 minutes or so. The fork, I mean. Excuse me. This is a it's a 528. This is 528. Yeah, this is 528 hertz. This is one of my favorite parts about having a lav mic, being mic'd up, is I can share these frequencies fully. I love that frequency. Cool. Yeah, but to return to some of these comments, I'd say, yeah, I love the kind of symbols. Yes, this is a very, these Tingsha, it's a very rare Tingsha. I mean, Tingsha is obviously very common, but this one in particular, I've never found one that's as pure and has such a high sustain. It's very uncommon for them to be like that. Yeah. Appreciate you being here, Mike. Appreciate you passing through. Native American culture was prophetic about the exact times today. Humans raised and fasted. Yes. The natives were very wise, very beautiful beings. Of course, they still are. Speaking, but as they're, yeah, our ancient natives really knew. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what's going on, Alicia? I'm very good, yeah. I've been kind of getting over this cold, so I'm a bit under the weather. Well, have been. I'm kind of just like right on the, yeah, the other side of that. But overall vibing. Yeah, life's been really dope still. Yeah. Yeah, pitchfork sounds good through the mic. It does. Lots of beauty is like it can really offer the full vibrational experience, which is very beautiful, you know, as a sounds healer. Even this one. And you can even infuse. And even, of course. Whoa, this is what we want. This is exactly why I wanted to get this lav mic set up right. It's for all these beautiful little nuances of the sound. To the secret that will cure anything. Whoa. Mm-hmm. 8 minutes was really exercising a difficult day. Things day is a max. Everything else is practicing. Mm-hmm. 8 minutes really exercising difficult things daily is max. Everything else is practicing. Interesting. Yeah, this is honestly, again, really what I'm loving. As you know, a sound healer, creating these sound journeys, this sound element, like having an enhanced ability to really create the best sound experience. That was a little bit. Maybe I'll find a better mallet for that. Yeah. Just really just creating a fullest sound experience. That's something I'm going to play around with. I'm definitely going to listen back to that audio and see exactly how that sounded that last little bit. Interesting. Try to concentrate and feel one finger at a time for minutes to help. Interesting. Very well. Of course, not anything. I was being a little dramatic. All right. Excuse me. All right, well, I feel what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to wrap up right here. Probably the next couple minutes as we are approaching the 3-hour mark. Plus, our phone is about to die, so got to charge our phone. It's been a very successful experiment, I would say, just playing around a lot with these higher quality sound or audio dimensions. I'm really curious to see how this sounds from the mic'd up sound. Thank you for giving yourself to us. I thank you. Appreciate you being here, Alicia. We just chilling. Yeah, it's been an interesting stream. Again, these last, 3 hours now coming up to, been some interesting perspectives flowing through. You know, I was talking a lot about kind of like Joe Dispenza-esque stuff related to metaphysics and health. And then as we've been kind of just experimenting overall with having a higher quality audio experience, which I fucking love. Yeah, it's been great. Appreciate you being here though, Alicia. It's always good. It's always good. Thank you for the stream. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for contributing and thank you for the support. Deeply appreciate it. Wow. All right. Whoa. Hot salt water turmeric. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I've been drinking lots of turmeric, but I gotta drink more probably, I feel. Even more. I've been drinking lots of hot salt water as well. Just constantly. Yeah, what a powerful session. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Enchanted. Appreciate you being here, my dog. Honestly, I had no idea what to expect. Just popping on the stream, I was like, as I go into these streams very intuitively, I'm like, all right, like, let's see what happens in this YouTube portal. But it's been feeling really good. I'm feeling very strong. You know, mentally, energetically. Yeah, haha, fork, and how's that metal pot called in English? Word, yeah, this is a singing bowl. Yeah, this is a singing bowl. Whoa. Amazing. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. I think we're going to officially put a close to this stream right here.
Hey, I really want to have a bath, so you need to
Amazing. Appreciate you being here, Elnek. Yeah, evidently we're about to close the stream right here. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. But yeah, very much feel free to subscribe to this channel if this content resonates with you. Really hits. Amazing. Yeah, I appreciate you, dog. And yeah, I basically teach guitar and do meditative sound journeys among various types of things. And yeah, feel free to support this channel if you desire to. I have a Ko-Fi and etc. And we're about to get monetized the next couple days. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm pretty stoked. Getting ad revenue and all that piled up. It's high honor. But yes, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, remember to honor yourself and to honor each other. Whoa, that's my mic. Mad love. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Bless. I share.